Hi everybody, welcome to Module 7. This is the Module 7 overview video. Let's jump right in. As always, let's take a look at the course Gantt chart. We're all the way over here in Module 7, and we can see that you've only got two things due this week, of course, besides your discussion post. So the first will be your screencast project, which will be due midweek. That'll be due at the normal midweek midweek deadline. And then you've got the WordPress tutorial, which is due at the end of the week. So let's quickly talk about the WordPress tutorial. So you'll already have chosen either WordPress.com or .org. I want to say the vast majority of y'all chose .org, which is the open source version, which in my opinion is the better version. Doesn't really matter which one you chose. You'll walk through, there's two different tutorials that are linked in the assignment description for the WordPress tutorial assignment. One is for the .com version, one is for the .org version. Make sure you're choosing the correct one before you begin the tutorial. The tutorial is fairly comprehensive, and you should get a certificate after the completion of the tutorial as well. The web portfolio project itself, of course, read through the assignment description as carefully as possible, but I wanted to walk through sort of how I'll be evaluating you when this is turned in at the end of the semester. The other thing I want to point out too really quickly is that next week, Module 8, or Week 8 of the semester, ends on a Friday instead of a Sunday. It's not my decision, it's just how the semester actually works in these 8-week courses. And so just to remind you, you've got to make sure you got your things in next week by Friday instead of Sunday. So make sure you're planning accordingly in terms of workload, etc. So how am I going to evaluate your web portfolio? So the first requirement is that you've got a hosted website targeted to potential employers. The hosted website part's not a problem. You've already all turned in assignment beginning of the semester showing me that you've set up your WordPress, you've got it all set up, you've purchased hosting. So everybody in the class is great on that. And then the second sort of requirement in point number 1 would be targeted to potential employers. Okay, so as you're building out your portfolio, as always, as technical communicators, we want to be thinking about our audience first. So as much as we would want to express ourselves or kind of use the tone of voice we want to use or express ourselves in the way we want to express ourselves, I want you to remember that, of course, this is all in the context of a professional setting and in the context of a potential employer viewing your profile. Second, the second requirement is that you have an About Me page. So a page that you are focusing, again, on describing who you are professionally. You may include some personal anecdotes in the About Me page, but remember, this is targeted to potential employers. And then you'll also need 2 TECM 5191 artifact pages. These are pages that are essentially examples of portfolio pieces or artifacts that you've created in TECM 5191. Each of these pages should include contextual information, so information about the project itself, and then also pages that represent and describe what competencies you used to complete the project. I'll talk more in this week's video lecture about the artifact pages themselves and some guidelines for those artifact pages. Number 3, you'll be graded on style, tone, and mechanics. So again, just like any other professional setting, typos would be unacceptable, right? We want to use professional tone and style, and we also want to make sure that our grammar, syntax, all of that is super tight and sort of in final version for a potential employer to view. Number 4, you'll be graded on your micro and macro organizational structures. So micro-organization would be how the information is laid out and designed on an individual page. And the macro-organizational structure will be how the entire site is structured, right? So how one person would navigate from one page to the next and make their way around the website. I'll talk again about that in this week's video lecture. Visual design in WordPress is the fifth thing. Of course, depending on if you're on WordPress.org versus .com, there's going to be some differences in what you're capable of doing visually. But there are some readings in this week's module that kind of talk about visual design patterns. And then, as always, that CRAP framework, contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity, is going to be a great starting place to make sure that your designs are exhibiting strong, effective visual design principles. Okay, so those are the 5 things you'll be graded on in your web portfolio. As always, you'll be asked to complete a discussion board post, and same as every other week, you will watch the source material, respond to a classmate, and then also commit to improving one last time your SRL focus area, self-regulated focus area. So this is going to be one of the last videos of the semester. It's been amazing. You guys have done an amazing job. And just shoot me an email or a DM if you've got any questions. Thanks.